Could any of you share an example of an ad that they've promoted that has worked better, or actually has, if it hasn't worked, it's even better to get started?
I don't know if mine are actually the best examples you can get, because most of them are in Italian, so it's maybe difficult for other people to understand it.
Well, actually, we don't need to see them, just for you to describe them.
Okay. So maybe I can start first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, for example, for my 3D printing profile, 3D designing profile, okay, I usually promote it with a carousel of pictures. Okay, so customers can go through the carousel. Maybe I highlight the products that I sell most. So those are, in my opinion, eye-catching, and it does not only depend on images; it also depends on the model itself. And then for my photography business, I mostly promote just pictures of couples kissing. So it's not a different example. Okay. But in my opinion, it works very, very well, promoting a carousel of pictures.
Perfect. So for e-commerce, Facebook has basically given us all the option. They've optimized the Facebook ad to fit e-commerce, and the best way to do that is actually the Facebook carousel. So I'm gonna share my screen over here, and in the previous talk, I talked a little bit about. Can you all see the Facebook ads page right now?
Yep.
My audience page. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to get a little bit deeper into what these audiences mean in a minute, but as a starter, let's go to our ads manager, actually. Perfect. Right, so I talked about this last session. We talked about the different types of ads that you can run, and we talked about the most important thing of ads. But one thing that Facebook has been doing quite well, and maybe I even have an example of this that we've already run before on the Kawafat company. Yeah, so we did just a general test to drive traffic actually into Cubee, because these products were on CubeeMart, but Facebook's optimized e-commerce advertising through the carousels. And the way it works is you're able to actually create product catalogs on Facebook. You can do it actually on your Instagram page as well. And then when you run an ad, you run an ad with a catalog that has already been pre-selected. And then what can be done is Facebook can actually really customize this catalog, and you can either choose exactly what pictures and what products you want to have on there, or you can just give Facebook the whole catalog, and over time, Facebook or Meta, because it's both Facebook and Instagram, will learn what products are best performing, what products click more, even what products are best performing to specific audiences. So you will have a carousel of one set of products, for example, showing to males ages 18 to 25, but then a completely different carousel showing to females ages 50 to 60, for example. You will never have access to this data. You will not know exactly how the algorithm, nobody in Facebook actually knows. They don't publicly show the what's behind that evil brain of theirs, but it happens, and Facebook is very good. The whole point of this form of advertising is that it learns through the unbelievable amount of data that is exposed to every day, and it learns exactly how this ad will perform compared to specific audiences. So David, you've actually tapped into a really probably the best ad to get started with if you're doing e-commerce for both an Etsy shop, if you have an Instagram shop, right? There are these Instagram shops that you can open up where the products are already on Instagram with pricing, and then only when you click them do you get thrown to an Etsy page or a shop or whatever. So that's also a great place to advertise on. And those catalogs are the same catalogs that you can work with. So if you have an Instagram store or shop with a catalog, you can actually say, oh, I want to run an ad, and the ad will use this specific catalog that I've already uploaded to Instagram. So this is a great way to do it. And what's great about these specific ads is that you can really customize the actual experience of the shopper. So can you see this pop-up that has just popped up on my screen? I was able to choose whether I want the price in the top left corner or not. This is all part of the customization, right? What's written on each and every one of the tickets, as well as I can put a discount on there. I can do free shipping labels. There are all these different labels that you can put. And what it gives is the customers an experience where they're scrolling through their feed, but then all of a sudden they see your specific products and they can then kind of start scrolling sideways. I'm sure you've done this before yourself, right? You see these ads, and what really big performance marketing companies do, like Amazon or Wish or companies that spend up, millions of dollars per month on Facebook advertising, they actually just dump an unbelievable amount of money on these catalogs and let Meta just do their thing and find the right products to show to the right people, which is why sometimes we see things that fit us so well, and we actually end up buying them. So a really, really good way to start is with these carousel ads, because it also gives you a really good understanding of what people are looking at, what products work best. You are going to get that feedback back. Another really cool thing is that each button here will send to a specific landing page that fits that specific product. Meaning if a regular ad, for example, think this fungus shelf is cool, wait till you see how it's made, right? I just made this to show an example. So when I'm running this ad as a picture, it will send, I can decide that this sends to the specific fungus shelf, but I can also just send to my general website where people can explore different products, or maybe it's just a video, or maybe it's me explaining how it's made. Maybe it's showing how something is 3D printed, and then it gives you the opportunity to buy it, right? With the carousel ads, the way it works is that each one will send you to if you want, each one will send you to a very specific landing page, which is the fastest way possible. At the end of the day, when you're doing e-commerce marketing, conversion is the end of the game, is the name of the game. All you want to do is get people to the checkout as fast as possible while giving them the most practical information that is needed for the purchase to actually happen. Meaning nobody's just going to say, oh, picture, cool. Like, where can I put my credit card deals? You need to get your trust up, and you need to get your barriers down. And we've talked about this in an ad, like what happens in a video ad, but I'm going to repeat this in a second. You need to trust the product and trust the brand and trust that you are getting something that you want, right? And one small picture is not going to be enough for you to actually buy, but it's a game because you don't want to overexhaust a customer with too many steps. The more steps that you see customers go through, the more people drop. It's as simple as that. There, you will experience a drop of people at every step of the way. You need to put in your credit card information. This is where 14% will drop. You need to put in your home address, 14% more will drop. Previously, you need to click on checkout. That's the button people aren't going to click on. If you are in a page with products, you want to click on a product, then you're going to click learn more. Then you got like any click that you add to the funnel, and the funnel is from the moment a customer sees your ad or enters your website until the moment that they've paid. Any step of the way that you add will decrease the amount of people that will actually buy. When we're looking at e-commerce sales, usually the people that actually convert into customers will be between 1 to 2%. So you'll have to have 100 people on your website, which is something that Facebook will take care of if you're advertising, for enough money and the content is good enough. You're going to need 100 people entering your website for 1 or 2 to buy. That difference between 1 to 2 people, that has to do with how good your ad is, right? How inviting it is, and more importantly, how precise the actual landing page is. And if we're going to have time, we're going to talk about how important the second part of the ad is, which is where they land and what they see. And a lot of websites do a really good job of helping you out with giving the customers everything that they need to actually make this decision. But even on Etsy, there's a difference between a good Etsy listing and a bad Etsy listing, right? An Etsy listing that sells and an Etsy listing that does not sell. So thank you so much, David, for this example. Yeah. Does anyone?
That's just my experience with this. The fact that you are showing more than one product at a time, I think is just great itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By my side, I have the ability to take pictures. Okay, that's another point.
Yeah, in fact, yeah. So here, most the CubeePlus users can use pictures like the ones that you take, or like high quality pictures as well. And that's a part of the work, right? Instead of doing the photography yourself, the fact that there's already a picture bank for you to use with these products, that's a huge part. I'll just show you how these look on other parts of Facebook advertising. So in the Instagram stories, you could see them as like tickets, or in the reels, Facebook will actually create, or Instagram will actually create, gotta scroll down here a lot for you to see it, but they'll actually create a video that flashes between the different pictures. And this is all created automatically when you upload a catalog. You don't have to take care of this. The reason is they are going to take this ad that you create and they're going to show it on all the different platforms or visual media ways that they have. So it will be in the bottom of articles, it will be in the reels, it will be in the stories, it will be in the post feed. That's just how they do it. Should I continue talking about the carousel ads? Are there any more questions, or should I talk about different types of ads or other types of ads? Okay. Eric, do you want to maybe mention an ad that you've run that was successful or not so much as an example? Only if you feel comfortable.
Well, I haven't had a lot of success, I guess, with ads. I do get traffic, and it's quite a bit of traffic, but I haven't really got anyone to purchase anything a whole lot yet. And
perfect.
So, and I think the big problem is I don't have any reviews yet either. So it's kind of hampering my progress a little bit. So I'm kind of just trying to focus in and get that one person or two people that kind of like buy something, leave that review, and hopefully they'll kind of drive up my business a bit.
Perfect. So if it's okay for me to ask a little bit more details about this, because this is a really good example, because Facebook can be a money draining machine, right? At the end of the day, you say, oh, I want a budget, $2 of ads, $5 of ads. They're just going to even if this is not an ad that will work, or even if you have no idea why it won't work,
right,
they're just going to take this money. So it's really good to break down and see maybe there are some best practices to look into. So what types of, are you sending people to your Etsy shop?
So I do have some Etsy ads running, but I also kind of am advertising I was advertising Cubee and my Etsy shop through Facebook.
So it's ads on Facebook that send you either to Cubee, to your Cubee print shop, or to your Etsy shop.
Yeah, I'm not running Facebook ads right now, but I was.
You were, okay, perfect. And then on Cubee, was it to products on Cubee, or was it to your just main landing page on Cubee?
It was just my main landing page.
Your main landing page, perfect. And then on Etsy, was it just your general Etsy shop?
Yeah, I think I chose a number of different products to advertise with that as well.
And then it would go to a specific product page.
Yeah, like a vase or one of those fungus shelves.
And then the last question I have is, what were these ads optimized for? When you were creating, I'll give a reminder, when you're creating a new ad, you can basically choose what type of ad you're, it's actually in the ad set. So let's go to a new campaign. When you're creating a campaign, right, you can choose what type of campaign it is. What was it optimized for? Do you remember?
I think initially it was for traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think I have it set for sales.
I see. Okay. And then, okay. So this is really interesting. So there's good and bad thing about traffic, because traffic will give you a lot of traffic.
Right.
But the dangerous thing about traffic when you're doing e-commerce sales is that it's good because like people click it, but Facebook has users that are tagged as clickers, right? Older people that just scroll, and when they or scroll through the computer, even when they see something, they click. They see a button, they say learn more, they click, they go back, they click, they go back. On average, they would click 10 times more than the average user, right? These are people that will be targeted for traffic ads because they're oh, you want link clicks? Sure, I'll give you link clicks. Right? Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's exactly, you want to raise awareness for something, and then you can define a really, really good, if you have a really good audience definition, that you know that anybody who's seeing this ad is exactly the right person, then fine, and you optimize the clicks. This is a good thing. But if you want the conversion, you want Facebook to learn about sales. Now, the problem with sales is that Facebook or Meadan measures a conversion or understands what it means that a sale was made and learns from this depending on the feedback that you give them. So basically you have to install some sort of, let's say, ping on Meadan's platform to say, oh, when this happens on my website or on Cubee's website or on Etsy's website, that's when I want a sale to occur. So my question is to you was, did you ever set up some sort of conversion on the other side? Because it's harder when it's not your own website.
I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. No. So this would be a really good use case. So basically, so we set it for sales, and we say I want a conversion to happen, but the problem is Facebook never knew if it got a sale or didn't, meaning it was never able to learn. It was never like, oh, this person didn't buy, so I'm going to try a different person. It was always basically grasping in the dark, right? So this is exactly the waters that we have to steer. If we're doing a sales campaign, we need to find a way to actually make sure that Facebook knows that this person has shown interest. A way to do that, for example, if you don't have a way, like you can use me to install a pixel on Cubee for you, right? Just because we're friends and we're talking and I can do it, but because I own Cubee, it's really hard for you to measure a conversion through Cubee. So it'll be really hard for you to send people that way. So you need to find a way to work around that in order for Meadan to learn, because this whole process is about being able to teach the ad exactly who the people that want this service need. This is the front stuff, which is why, again, a great way to get started if you don't have a website, if you're promoting an Etsy, is to actually use Instagram shop catalog, create your Instagram shop, have a sales conversion that is sending people to a catalog sale, to your catalog. And then, right, you've seen people that have already clicked on your ad, they've looked at the catalog, they've seen a product they liked, and then they clicked on it again. So even if it doesn't know exactly who bought it, they knew people had a lot of intent when they were doing this. And no matter where you send them to the actual product page of that catalog. This is a really good example. So thank you for sharing, because it's really, really helpful to understand. And we're gonna, that's the part about ad measuring, which is a little bit more complex, especially when you don't own a website of your own, but pages that are outside. By the way, Etsy is always improving the way to help people advertise directly to Etsy. But then again, they have an ulterior motive, which is for you just to pay them and they'll take care of the advertising, right? This is what Etsy wants to happen. Etsy wants you to advertise on Etsy through them, and then they're like, oh, we'll take care of it for you. It's not always true, doesn't always work, but this is what they would prefer you to do. Okay, any questions about this? Because it was like we talked a little bit about ad, we went into the whole ad measurement area, which was a little bit earlier than I intended actually, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, perfect. So no questions as of now. Great. Okay, so I will talk a little bit more about the ad creation, and then I'll mention what we talked about in the last session, which is the most important things that someone will experience in an ad. And I will maybe take a step back and say it's not the most important things they'll experience in an ad, it's the most important things that they'll experience in their buying process. Because sometimes you'll you'll click on an ad because it's just a picture or text or a beautiful picture, a beautiful product, but then as you go, you need all of these different things. So some ads will not be carousels because, for example, maybe Eric, you want to advertise 3D printing services on Cubee. Maybe you don't want people to buy a product through your Cubee shop. You want people to, it's people that need 3D printing services. They need something 3D printed, and you want them just, to help you out. You want them to contact you or to upload a file, right, and just get something 3D printed, or to talk to you and contact you and see if you can help them out with something, with an idea that they have for 3D printing, right? This would be the two cases. So in this case, you're not going to you're not going to advertise a carousel. You're going to advertise something in the form of, let's see if I have something. I don't remember if this is one that we used. Okay, this is one that we use for businesses, right? Does your business sell custom fitted planters? This was Cubee advertising to businesses. We were looking to get leads in Atlanta, for example, right? We have Mark sitting in Atlanta. We wanted to get leads, so we were like, okay, let's invest money and get this. This, by the way, was not a very successful ad, but just as an example, it's a picture that that was actually leading to a form. So we didn't want people to go into a website that was too confusing outside of Facebook. Facebook gives you an option just to leave a lead. But let's talk about the ad itself, first of all. So all we did here was show a picture, which would get a plant shop's attention, and a sentence that asks them a question that will get them more engaged. This was all that we wanted to do here because we wanted to get their engagement. So a similar question is, did you, let's say you're targeting students who have their, design students who have their finals. So the same question would be, did you get your product, did you get your idea printed yet? Or did you get your product printed yet? Or if you're not targeting students, have you ever imagined an idea and seen it come to life, right? And whatever, it's either a video of a time lapse or a really beautiful product, or maybe it's a picture that is like a sketch with an arrow and then a physical product of that sketch, something like that, right? You want to get them engaged. You want to find the right person who's thinking, oh, this is exactly what I need, right? I was looking for a 3D printer. Maybe I thought about buying one because I have an idea. So let's talk here, right? And then depending on the type of idea you're targeting or person you're targeting, you can do one of two things in this specific scenario. One is you can actually send them to Cubee, for example, or to your website where they can chat with you, or even if they already have the file, right? Need something to 3D print in Atlanta, click here, right? This is for people who already need to 3D print something. They have a file they want to 3D print, and all they need to do is to go into a landing page, upload a file, and bam, they're done. One thing you can do, again, because ad measurement is so hard, is you can actually send people to chat with you on Facebook and Instagram. This could be one of the places where people end up. Like if they click this ad, what will open up is a chat with you where they can send a message and where you can actually customize. You can do like a basic chatbot where like you ask them 3 questions, right? Do you have a file that you need to 3D print, right? Do you have an idea that you need help creating, or are you looking for a cool product to 3D print, right? And then you have 3 questions. They can click whatever you want, and then your answer will lead them to wherever they need to go. This would be a really good place to get started, where you can actually start with, a picture that gets their attention or a video that gets their attention, and then right off the bat, you ask them a question or 3 questions that will direct you to give them the best service possible. And this is actually helping you out because you don't have to do very complex ad measurement because it's all internal within Facebook. Facebook's like, oh, this guy sent a message. It means like this guy has chatted, the chat has begun, which means this is the right person, the right target for this audience, which is great. We can continue from there. Or it can actually give you the option to say, oh, okay, so have a different type of person coming in, and I don't have to really give them one specific message right away. I can ask them like my Facebook chat can say, I need something to like give a few questions, and whatever they pick, this is what you can then work with and give them the best service that they need. Oh, you need to 3D print. You have a file you need to 3D print. Perfect. Just go to this link and upload it, and you'll get an instant quote, and we're done. Oh, you need actually help with an idea that you have. Okay, please give me more details. I'll see what I can do for it, right? Maybe we need to bring in a designer to help. Maybe we need to actually charge extra for design, like depending on what kind of service you want to give. Oh, you're looking for a product. Here's my catalog, right? Here's a really cool list of products and catalog, or, here's an amazing catalog from Thingiverse, or let me know what you had in mind and I'll find it for you, right? You can technically find products, right? To provide a 3D printing service, you don't need to have the license if this is something that they're actually asking you to print. So you can actually go out and find what they need without designing it or without buying it, or so this is what we would be using for a simple picture and a simple video. Now, I do want to go over the most important parts of an ad or of a buying process. And this actually works both for if you're doing e-commerce, and then a lot of this would be a part of the Etsy, or if you're doing just an ad for services or something like that. Before I go, are there any other questions about what I just talked about with the chat? Great, so I'll continue. Okay, so we have 4 things, and I did say this in the last one, so if you just saw it, I'm sorry that I'm repeating it. But we have 4 things that we're looking for when we are advertising on Facebook. It's 4 different stages that the client will have to go through in order to help them make the decision of using your service, ultimately paying money, right? Buying, because at the end of the day, some ads are not projected towards actually paying you, right? Some will just be like here, a form where they leave their information, their names, their emails, because this is what you need at this moment. Some ads will just get them to follow you on Instagram because, okay, once they follow me on Instagram, eventually they'll become clients. But ultimately, most advertising is done so you can grow your business and bring in more sales. So when you do create an ad, there are 4 stages. The first one is the thumb stopper, grabbing attention, right? In the last webinar, I talked about something that is almost instinctive, a physical reaction that what I'm seeing at this moment will make me stop scrolling because we're in an endless scroll, our mind is dead, and the image, text, shot, video that we see will have to make us actually stop and say, huh. So that's the first thing that has to happen. And the second one is a value proposition, something that is really, really clear that says, oh, this is what is being sold here. So a question can work because it makes me think and it gets me engaged, but then I need right away an answer of what this specific service is. And this is the only way that like people might click on things like clickbait, right? Sometimes we try to do, we played around with like provocative ads, right? People saying, oh, this is stupid, just so they'll click it. But usually the most quality people who click something are people who understand why they're clicking this ad. It's because it resonates with them. It's because they're curious. It's because it solves a problem that they need. So we have the thumb stopper, something that will make them actually stop and look and pay attention for a second. And then the second one would be the call to action. And then there are two, sorry, not the call to action, the main message. And then there are two very, very important parts of this ad. Two really, really, really important aspects that are actually what's going to make me say, from just looking at something or even like being curious to actually saying, oh, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this thing. And the first one would be to break resistance, break barriers of resistance. The second will be to build trust. These are two very similar, but very different things also. To break down resistance, it means usually we're smart people and right, we don't like most ads that we see, we know are ads. We're like, oh, they're just ads. Oh, they're just selling something, right? Even on TV, I'm like, oh, it's a funny ad, but they're just selling something to me, right? We're usually in the mental state that everyone's out for our money. All they want to do is take our money as fast as possible, and half the time we feel like we're being scammed, even though we're not necessarily being scammed. This is like the main mentality that I walk through on a day-to-day basis. And breaking resistance means to take like this general no, or don't give me any spam, or don't advertise to me, or leave me alone. This general feeling or reaction that we have to ads, and breaking it down to what really is the reason logically that we think that this is an ad, that I don't need it, that I don't need to pay for it, that it's stupid, that it's bad, that it doesn't actually help me. Because if we got someone's attention with a real problem they have, or something that they really want, or something they think is cool. So 3D printing services is easier because people sometimes actually need it, or people have this idea and they really want to make it happen, but like they don't know how, and then they see it. But with e-commerce, it's different. Like it's something that makes them happy, excited. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, this will go great. This will be an amazing gift. So when they see the ad, they have this immediate, like the first thing will be like, ooh, cool, because let's assume that you managed to thumb stop, right? They'll be like, okay, this is intriguing. And then it'll be like, oh no, this is not for me because of A, B, C, D, E. Breaking down the barriers is understanding exactly what are the things that someone will say or what are the logical things someone will say that will for them to explain to themselves why this is a stupid ad and that they don't need it. And you need to address these things right away before they even have time to come out with a reason why this is stupid. You have to say, oh, but no. Okay, example for that on CubeePlus, on Hive Plus. Hive Plus is our mid-tier plan for Cubee. I'd say, okay, here's amazing commercial licensing for 3D printed products. And then an immediate reaction will be like, oh, this is great. Okay, you're selling this, but it means, thousands of people all over the world are also going to sell this product. So what good will I do with this product? And then immediately I will come back and say, how would I break resistance? Say, no. These are limited edition catalogs, and we're only letting 50 people become exclusive sellers of each one of these catalogs, right? This is the way to break resistance. Someone say, oh, okay, so never mind. This one thing that I didn't like, or that I thought I wouldn't like this product for, is gone. What's the next one, right? And we got to find these 3-4 different things. And state them. Where will we state them? This is depending on the ad, right? If this is a video of us talking about our service, we'll tell it right away, because the longer someone is exposed to what we do, the more the more they will think, and the more these pushbacks will come. But if someone is just saying an e-commerce product, maybe that will be in the comments, right? People will write a comment and then you can comment back, or actually on the page itself, which is why I said the Etsy shop is really, really important. What you state in the Etsy shop, it needs to break resistance, right? To explain to people why this is, it's a locally made, handcrafted product, right? Biodegradable materials if you're using them, and all of these things that will say, okay, this is really, really good. The second part will be to build trust, right? Building trust comes from mainly one thing or two things: experience and brand, right? You can say, I've been in this business like for the past 5 years. I've served hundreds of businesses and manufactured thousands of products all over the United States. And this is this is my profession. And then it's like, okay, I can trust this person. And the second one, which is even a lot stronger, are testimonials, right? Us at Cubee, the one thing that I want more than anything is for you all to write a testimonial on simply why Cubee has been helpful, or you think Cubee will be helpful to other people. Why? Because this is what builds trust more than anything. On Etsy, they do it for you once you have some sales, right? Somebody buys a product, Etsy asks them to rate it, to upload a picture, to give them a rating. All these things are super, super important to build the trust of the product, saying, oh, okay, other people have used it, other people have enjoyed it, other people like it. And this is why almost any company that will have a landing page, it will show the logos of the businesses that they've worked with as testimonials. So like you just see Mercedes-Benz logo, or whatever, any big company logo is out there. By the way, if you've worked with any company, even friends that have a company and that you've printed for, if you have a website, do yourself a favor, take any logo of anybody that you've even mildly collaborated with, put that logo on your website, right? Trusted by these logos. If you need an authorization, ask for it, but usually you don't need an authorization. And most companies would love to have their logo in as many places as possible. You can all put a Cubee logo anywhere you want and give you full authorization for that. So that's the building trust part. It's very, very important. The last one would be the very, very specific call to action, right? Learn more, buy now, click here. A commanding call to action, which seems almost like too selly. You have no idea how effective that is when it comes to actually creating conversions for these ads. Yeah, so I think we kind of went over the different aspects. Are there any questions about this specific part? All right. Let's see. All right, perfect. How long do we have? Okay, we'll have about a few more minutes about defining the audience, and then we'll open it up to conversation if you have any other questions. Defining an audience is not very easy. I will say this because at the end of the day, usually what Facebook needs to best define an audience is an understanding of how many people have actually interacted well with an ad, right? The Facebook algorithm really learns the person or the type of person that this ad is best fitted for after about 50 conversions or so, right? Which is really, really hard because sometimes to get 50 people to buy a product, we talked about this, right? You need 100 people to enter your website, 1 or 2 people will actually buy this product. So you need, you want 50 people. So at the end of the day, you need 5,000 people to enter. To get 5,000 people into your website, that could be a lot of money. It could take a lot of time. And if it takes Facebook over 2 weeks to reach that number, or actually even over 1 week to reach that number, then usually it's like, oh, my learning is limited. It's too hard for me to understand, right? And then this ad is not performing well. So usually we need to pick a conversion that will help Facebook get a better audience understanding faster. The problem is the best way for Facebook to work faster is to spend more money on Facebook, which is really, really frustrating because we all, I think, have very limited marketing budget, right? Facebook would work best for someone who could spend a few $100s a day to get something to work. But the general rule of thumb is you want to get about 7 conversions of what you need, what you're trying to get per day, and this will be the best thing to learn. And sometimes with the right ad, a $20, $30 a day advertisement can do the trick, right? You can get, for example, 7 people to start a chat with you, and then hopefully one of them through chat, you can convert them into a paying customer, right? And you paid $25 a day for those 7 people, but that one person that you do convert actually pays you $200, and then this ad is a very, very positive ad. We always have to do this math, but when we're measuring an ad, measuring performance, we need to look at the bottom line. Is this worth it, right? Sometimes we're going to invest money for this ad just to get, as many users as possible, and it will work. But understanding that the ads are supposed to really resonate back is the most important thing. And if you're spending a week and are not seeing any results at all, stop advertising right away, make the iterations you need. We do not want you to waste money at all. One thing I will say about building an audience is that the best practice, and this is actually really stupid, is not to use any of Facebook's narrowing down of people. The best practice so far that the people are using and the biggest companies are using, but even small ones are doing well, is actually to give the algorithm as many people as possible to work with, and actually letting it choose on its own. So sometimes when you're running an ad for $30 a day, which is a lot of money, but when you're ready to do it, you actually not define the audience at all. Don't say people are interested in 3D printing or people interested in home decor or people who like vases, none of that. Just let that ad reach everybody and let Facebook navigate on their own the people who will be exposed to this ad, right?
I totally agree to this.
Yeah. Has that worked for you as well?
Yeah.
Eventually, what will end up happening is that you can learn or you can get a specific audience of people who have actually interacted with your ad, have followed your page, have clicked, have landed on your website, and this will aggregate into another base of audiences that you can do a lot of cool things with. So for example, right, I started off advertising when we first started Cubee to bring in people with 3D printers for the free print shop option, right? We have this open a free print shop on Cubee. So let's do a log out here, right? So this is like the landing page that we came out with. Profit from your 3D skill, open a free print shop, right? We weren't asking for any money. We just wanted people with 3D printers to come on and get to know us back in 2021. And to get this landing page, we just did a complete US 18+ targeting, and eventually I think we opened it up for Canada. Later on, we were able to say, okay, let's take all the people who landed in this page, who actually clicked or actually opened a print shop. We have a few thousand now, and we can then do detailed targeting to these people, right? So you can do one of two things. You can do retargeting, which is really, really effective, meaning people that have already clicked on your ad, they've already shown interest. You can do a very low budget campaign to target these specific people, exactly the same people who already clicked but didn't buy because, right, we showed there's a drop rate, right? So somebody liked it, it was really interested, he clicked the product, he wanted it, he was gonna put in his credit card, he got a phone call. He answered the phone, went to the bathroom, he's done, he's gone, right? The only way to get him back is to retarget him with an ad. And these ads have very low conversions. It's very cheap to get these people. The second thing that can happen is once you've done this for a while and you actually have an audience, so let's say maker users, for example, right? These are people that have visited or opened print shop on Cubee. They're about, Meta found about between 14 and 1600 of those. I can use them to create a lookalike audience, right? Cubee US lookalike. What Meta does is that it takes specific aspects of these users, again, I have no ability to reach to access them, but it does that. And it creates the 1 percentile of a specific region with those traits exactly. So what has worked for me is I could take these makers and say, okay, I have people with 3D printers that have 2,000 people with 3D printers. I can take these 2,000 people, create a lookalike audience, people who are similar to them. And then my ad will be only to this 1 million people group instead of the 200 million people group that I start with. So I start with a smaller number, but I know these are people that are more likely to interact. But this is a later on thing. What I'd start with is a general open targeting to bring in as many people as possible, and then to narrow that down with a retargeting. So for people who've already interacted with my product, I will target, I'll market to them again, hopefully that they will convert because that'll be a cheaper conversion. Any questions about this? Either it was really way too confusing or just super clear. I will say this, we're doing one-on-one talk specifically with each and every one of you. You have the option just to book a call. So we can go really into specifics with what you want to do or thinking about doing. Even if you're not doing it right now, we can do a marketing talk about this and see if it's worth it for you to try. Sometimes Facebook marketing is just not the right time yet, right? Remember this, because it takes time, needs money to invest. It's kind of like, it's really hard. It makes your heart race because if it's not working, you're just losing money every day, which really sucks. But all in all, when it works, it's amazing. So I think that's all the time we have for today. If you have any other questions, I'd love to answer them, or just general opinions about this. And otherwise, we'll take it offline and continue one-on-one talks.
Maybe I can add a little bit of my experience if it's possible.
Please do.
I wanted to switch my video on, but I really I'm not so.
You did it.
I don't usually use Zoom, so you know. I think it's what you said was great, actually. Okay, so you gave clear instructions about it. Don't be scared. I'm talking to the guys in the classroom. Okay, let me say this. Don't be scared of Facebook. You can really start with a very low budget and try to improve your skills. The tool is a bit hard to understand because it's not so clear. Okay, so maybe just take your time, watch some videos on YouTube, and you'll see results for sure. That's how it works. You just need to invest a little bit of money. For example, if you decide to invest €1, $1, €1, or one, I don't know your currency at all. In 1 month, you can decide to spend €30, 30 money, okay? And it's not a big investment. For example, if you decide to buy a 3D printer, at least you have to spend, I don't know, maybe €300, $300. So spending 10% of what you are what you have already spent for one printer, maybe it's not that much. I think that Facebook is really how can I say this? It's very important for a business, for a brand. I think also that Etsy is very, very easy because you just tell them, take my money and do whatever you want. Okay. On Facebook, you can decide, as Uriah said before, you can decide your audience. You can target this. It's very cool. I think it's one of the best tools right now, even if it's a bit odd to understand. That's my 2 cents. I'm sorry.
Thank you. No, it's really helpful. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so thank you everybody, and I'll also be speaking to people who will watch this video later or not with us right now. So thank you for watching. And again, our doors open to better understand the tool. That's a little confusing, as David said. and to help you kind of navigate the waters the best we can, right? We're not the top experts, but we've done a lot of tests, we've done a lot of advertising, and we're more than happy to share what we've learned from this. So thank you so much.
Thank
All right,
you.
everyone.
Appreciate it.
Bye, everyone. Ciao, Mark. Turk.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
David. Bye,
Bye bye.
Fabian.
Bye.
Bye.